Hello and welcome back to the channel, or welcome for the first time if you've never been here before. Basically what I'm doing is we're having a look at Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I've got some friends who are kind of curious about the game and aren't really sure what it's about, so I thought I would make a brief video here focusing on the experience from the victim perspective, kind of help point out what the game's like to play, right? If you're curious and you stumbled on this and you're wondering about this game, stick around and we'll kind of talk about what the point is here from one side of it anyway. But basically, it is a 4 versus 3 game. You've got 4 victims on every map and 3 killers. You can start with different numbers, I think, now since one of the more recent patches. But ideally, you want to play with a full game, of course, which is 4 on 3. So you see me here, I'm escaping my captivity, right? I had to wiggle out of my restraints, and now I'm out loose in the bottom part of the map. This is the basement. This is where everybody starts out on every map. There's always some version of the basement like this. And you'll notice I've got these yellow rectangles highlighted. Those are the exits I need to get to. My character has a perk equipped where every time you start the game, it will highlight where those exits from the basement are, as well as that toolbox that you just saw me kind of rifling through, so I could pick up a couple of lock picks. So every door to the basement is locked, and you just saw me tear through that lock just now. That's because the character that I'm using, her name is Connie, her ultimate ability lets her just, chew through a lock like nothing. Normally, it takes a little bit longer. It takes, depending on who you're using and how terrible they are with the proficiency and how you've distributed your attribute points and stuff. Like, there's a lot that kind of goes into it. But if your lock picking ability is pretty low, it can take a while to pick a lock, which will make the tension ratchet up because you're always worried about a killer running up on you, especially down there. So you've got a competent Leatherface player breathing down your neck. You'll have to be worried about where they are while you're picking those basement door locks. So anyway, you see me coming up here now. I'm topside. I'm above the basement, and the other 2 killers are up here. You just saw me briefly kind of spying on Hitchhiker running around. He doesn't know where I'm at. But this is a lot of the game from the victim perspective, right? It's a lot of stealth. It is a lot of hiding. And sometimes, sometimes you can play aggressively. Some people, that's their whole style, right? There's a character who has a shoulder, like, kind of bum rush ability that can knock down the killers. That's his ultimate. And people that play that character, from what I've seen, it seems pretty popular to play it pretty aggressively. But for the most part, the idea here is stealth because this, unlike Friday the 13th, which was made by this same studio, a lot of the same people, it sounds like. There's not a lot of offensive options here, right? There's no shotgun to pick up. There's no Tommy Jarvis to call in. There's no switchblade to get you out of a grapple or whatever from, instant death. There's no firecrackers, but there are some tools, right? You've got the lock picks, obviously, that you see me using here with Connie. There are bone shards that you can pick up, or like shivs, I guess, bone shivs, that can be used for like dismantling traps or stunning the killers, actually, if you're lucky enough to get a good angle on them. If they're busy doing something, you can kind of get them from behind, and that'll give you some time to, maybe buy a teammate some time or give you time to run. So, in some ways, it seems like there's less going on than in Friday the 13th, but in other ways, there's a lot more going on in this game. It feels like, it just feels like a busier game to me here. That's not to say that I don't like, Friday the 13th. I think that was a great game that they put out. It had its issues, right? But it was really good, and I had a lot of fun playing that game with friends for quite some time. But that game is like 5 or 6 years old now, and I think it shows, especially if you go back to it now, and especially after playing this game. Everything is so much more fluid in this game. The characters animate so much better. It's faster. Just everything about this game in that regard, just like it feels so much more modern than Friday the 13th. And if you don't believe me, go back and play Friday the 13th now, and you'll see just how janky that game seems in comparison to this. But anyway, you see me chilling out here with my teammate. That's my buddy Chief. He's picking the lock to this door because I am out of lock picks at this point. I used the one to get up out of the basement, and then I used the one to get into that building that we were just in. And you can only carry 2 at a time. So if he were not here, I'd be going back down into the basement, or I wouldn't have to necessarily go into the basement. I'd be looking around maybe topside, but keeping in mind the other killers are likely patrolling up here, right? Sometimes they go into the basement once that's been opened, but I think it's fairly popular to run down there and get a new lockpick after you run out. It all just kind of depends on what's in your immediate area and how your killers are patrolling the map and stuff, right? So you'll see me here. What the hell am I doing? I'm kicking this generator because I'm trying to turn it off, because there's a cattle guard behind this gate I'm about to look at. This gate right here, that's open now. Chief unlocked it. You didn't see it happen, but I remember it happening in the game. Trust me, he's telling me I got it unlocked. That's why I was kind of waiting to turn off the generator. Basically, we've got everything we need to be home free now to exit the map and win the game for the 2 of us. But we've got other teammates out here. We've got 2 other people out here, and we would love to help them out rather than just exit. And maybe along the way we'll even get some extra XP for doing various things, which would make it worth our while to stick around longer and not just leave our teammates behind, right? So I think there's another gate that's about to open in a different location. There's 4 exits on every map. There's the generator exit, which you saw Chief and I working on. There's a similar one that runs on a car battery rather than a generator, so you want to disconnect the car battery, and that'll turn off the electrical grid behind the gate. And then you can pick the lock on the gate and exit. And then I don't know if you caught it just now, but highlighted in yellow there is the steam gate that was just opened. That involves stealing a valve, or like a wheel to kind of put on a valve. And you take it from one location to another. You apply it, turn it, and then a gate opens up in another spot. So those are kind of interesting because rather than like the generator gate, right, where it's a matter of like picking the lock that's right there, picking the gate lock that's right there, and then turning off the generator, all right there, all in this location here, right? The ones that have them running around to get a valve, or the other one is getting a fuse and then plugging it into another fuse box, those spread things out, which can allow for different strategies, right? Like you might have a teammate who's literally right at one of those exits. When the second you put the fuse in or turn the valve or whatever, and then they're out immediately. And then the killers are like, oh crap, I gotta guard this open door. And so they all huddle over there, and then maybe you have the chance there to now go through one of the other 3 exits instead while they're freaking out about that one, right? So that's the idea. It's all just about getting out, surviving, but trying to bring as many teammates with you as you can. And now you see me spectating our teammate here. And this was funny because when we were playing this guy was fairly new to the game. He didn't really know the map, or I think it was that he didn't play Victims very often, if ever. So he wasn't sure where he was when he got up here. And me and Chief are coaching him through it right now, telling him where to go. Telling him, no, okay, I think we're going to take him right through the same generator exit that I went through. Which, if you had a better killer team here, they would be waiting for him there, or maybe, who knows? I mean, maybe they're freaking out about the valve, worried that like he's going to try and get down there and turn the valve again and get out that exit. But I mean, a good killer team will divide and conquer, right? They'll put somebody on the steam gate or by the valve, and then they'll put somebody over on the generator exit here. So yeah, and he didn't realize he needed to go up the stairs. He thought we were telling him to cut directly right there. But now he's going into this building. I told him, shut the door behind you, man. Shut the door, because if the killers see the doors open, they're going to know you went through it. So a nice closed door is going to look like, it's going to look like nothing's happening there. And now we're just telling him, haul ass, get down the hall and get out that gate. But yeah, that's the general experience with this game here. It's from the victim perspective anyway. I might do another one of these from the killer side, so you can get a feel for that too. But it's been a ton of fun. I'm really enjoying it. It's on Game Pass right now if you have that. It's on PS5. I think it's $40. If it's on PC, it's also 40. Basically, I think it's 40 everywhere other than Game Pass. Obviously, it's on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 as well, but they're not cross-play with the modern systems, unfortunately. But yeah, there you have it. It's a great game. Having an awesome time with it. Come and check it out.